I'm Gabriella. Psst. Private Diary said they would be over the moon if you press like and subscribe to their channel. Get comfy. I'm going to tell you my story. It all began when I left our little farm and went to New York. Or rather, when I told my parents I wanted to be a fashion designer, and they said they wouldn't pay for my college. You can't make a barbecue out of a couture dress. Quit talking nonsense and take care of the cattle. Mom and Dad always spoiled my older sister, Stella. When she moved to New York a year ago, Mom and Dad gave her their car. I will become a millionaire and buy you a house with a helipad. Ciao! Yeah, right. Stella claimed that she was running a successful business and sent us photos of her luxurious life. But she was actually so stingy that she sent me a free perfume sample from a store as a Christmas gift. Can you believe it? But my parents were still proud of Stella and always told me to be more like her. Soon, I got tired of dreaming about high fashion while knee-deep in manure. So, when I found out that a design competition with a large cash prize would be taking place in New York, I immediately packed my bags and went there. I was going to use the winnings to pay for college. I told Mom and Dad that I was going to visit Stella. I needed a place to stay, so I came to Stella's apartment. I was hoping that she would find room for her little sister. However, when Stella saw me, she scowled like I smelled of manure. Well, I probably did. Just a bit. I came straight from the farm after all. My sister immediately slammed the door in my face. Go away, Gabriella. I'm, sick. I don't want to give you my germ. Only a fool would believe that. She just had a flare-up of dishonesty. Where was I supposed to go now? I had no money for a hotel, and I wasn't going to come back home before fulfilling my dream. I was about to call my parents and tell them that my sister had sent me away, but decided against it because they would have taken her side anyway. I'll figure it out. As my idol Coco Chanel used to say, the worse a woman feels, the better she should look. By the way, before becoming a legend in the world of fashion, Coco Chanel lived in an orphanage, worked in a knitwear store, and sang in a cabaret. She followed her dream and never gave up. Sorry, I went off on a tangent. What was I talking about? Oh, right. I had nowhere to spend the night. And then I saw a dog try to steal a hot dog from a street vendor. He saw it too and started shouting. Come on, this shaggy guy's just hungry. Isn't that right, buddy? My stomach was rumbling too. I used the last of my money to buy some fast food and shared it with the dog. All that was left to do was find a place to sleep. The dog suddenly wagged his tail, nuzzled me, and started to push me towards some building. Do you want me to follow you? Okay. He led me to an open basement window, quickly climbed through it, and barked like he was telling me to follow him. Well, it seemed like no one lived there, so I decided to spend the night there. It was some sort of warehouse with canned goods and boxes in it. My new friend and I settled down by a rack. I tried to fall asleep, but it was hard to do in an unfamiliar place and without a comfortable bed. I picked up a book that was lying there and read an interesting legend. According to it, if a guy heroically saved a girl and kissed her in the last week of summer, they would always be together. How romantic! It was the last week of summer now. I fell asleep thinking about it and dreamed that a handsome knight saved me from a dragon and kissed me. However, when I opened my eyes, I realized that the dog was licking my face. Ew. I jumped up and saw a surprised guy next to me. Who are you and what are you doing here? I told him that I'd fed the dog and he brought me there. His name is Tail. He's a stray, but sometimes comes here at night, and I feed him. I'm Nick. Nick told me that we were in a restaurant warehouse. He worked in that restaurant as a waiter and said that if the owner saw me, he would be livid. At that moment, the door opened and the restaurant owner stormed into the warehouse, red with anger. I froze, but Nick hid the dog behind himself and said that I had just been hired as a waitress. We don't need new workers. He turned away, Tail jumped out into the street, and Nick and I walked into the restaurant. I realized that that place catered for weddings. There was even a swimming pool in it. Can you believe it? The newlyweds were walking between the tables and carefully examining everything. The bride was scowling and complaining about the tablecloths, napkins, and everything else she saw. What a drama queen. This is tacky. Let's choose another place for the wedding. Wait a minute. I recognized her. It was Lana Crystal, a famous model. Wow! The restaurant owner was sweating nervously. I quickly drew several design solutions for the hall and offered them to the newlyweds. They liked my ideas so much that they decided to give the restaurant another chance. A year ago, my fiancé saved me when I almost fell while riding a horse. It was so romantic, just like in that legend. Our wedding needs to be perfect. The restaurant owner was grateful for my help and hired me on the spot. Yay! Wow. Now I would be able to participate in the design competition. All that was left to do was find a place to stay. Nick came to the rescue again. He told me that I could rent the apartment next to his. He knew its owner, a nice old lady. I'll put in a good word for you. You're a miracle worker. Thanks. Soon, I moved into that apartment, started working as a waiter, and taking part in the design competition. When I had free time in the evenings, I worked on the dress that I hoped would bring me victory on the balcony, and listened to Nick play guitar on the balcony next to mine. Oh, I'd fallen head over heels in love with him. He was kind, cute, and funny. Nick had only one flaw. He couldn't take a hint. You know, there is this one guy I want to ask me out. Oh, well, I hope he finds the courage to do it, because you're awesome. Was he pretending, or did he really not understand that I was talking about him? Holy crud. One day, I was working on the skirt of the dress and watching Nick play with Tail outside. Then, I remembered that legend that said that if a guy saved a girl in the last week of summer, they would be together forever. Well, if it worked for Lana Crystal, why couldn't I give it a try? There was only one problem. I was running out of time. I couldn't wait for the right opportunity to present itself. And that meant I had to create it. I was a genius. The next day, I pretended to slip at work so that Nick could catch me. But he caught the plates from my tray while I fell on the floor instead. Are you okay? Never been better. My first attempt failed. Then I bit into an apple and pretended to choke. Do you know what that moron did? He offered me a cough drop. Jeez. No matter what I did, all my attempts to get Nick to save me failed. The last week of summer was coming to an end. One evening, I was coming back home from the competition and saw Stella on a bus. Wow, what was Her Majesty doing in public transport? I sat down next to my sister and asked her why she wasn't driving the car our parents had given her. Oh, Gabriella, it's a disaster. I'm in trouble and don't know what to do. What she told me shocked me. It turned out that Stella had been going to get married, but her fiancé had money problems. My sister had sold her car and business to help him. But that liar turned out to be a con man. He and his real fiancé robbed me, and now they're getting married, and I'm left with nothing. Stella had apparently refused to let me in back then because she was broke and packing to move out of the apartment. She had been too embarrassed to tell me the truth. She buried her face in my shoulder and burst out crying. On the one hand, I thought my sister got what she deserved. But on the other hand, I felt sorry for her. Still, it was terrible that the guy she loved betrayed her. I told Stella where I lived and what I did, and asked if there was any way I could help her. I have an idea. I want those traitors to pay. Help me ruin the wedding of my ex-fiancé and his nasty bride. Stella showed me a photo of the newlyweds, and my eyes bugged out. It was Lana Crystal and her fiancé. What a coincidence. I was supposed to work at their wedding that weekend. I felt very sorry for Stella. She wasn't the best big sister in the world, but I decided that I would help her get revenge anyway, especially since that spoiled model had it coming. Someone needed to put her in her place. I told my sister that I was going to be serving tables at that wedding and would take care of it. Stella was overwhelmed and hugged me. We started preparing for the wedding early on Saturday. Lana was running around the restaurant and making sure everything was perfect. I want to remember this day! Oh, I could promise her she would never forget it. Besides ruining the wedding, I wanted Nick to finally save me that evening. After all, it was the last day of summer. There was almost no time left. I moved around like a ninja in heels and secretly did all sorts of nasty things. I messed with the musicians' instruments, melted the ice statuette of the newlyweds with a hairdryer, and sneaked Tail into the kitchen. Hey doggy, see that birthday cake? Help yourself, it's all yours. I didn't have to ask him twice. He jumped on the table and quickly ate it. I was quite pleased with myself. The wedding was sabotaged, and Lana's eye was twitching because nothing was going according to plan. But I didn't feel like a supervillain. After all, I was just righting a wrong. I was leading Tail back outside when Nick saw us. Gabriella, did you let him eat the cake? Are you trying to stop the wedding? I nodded, proud of myself. But then I realized that Nick didn't know the whole story and wouldn't get it. He frowned and said he was disappointed. I thought you were kind. How could you do that? He laughed, and then Stella called me and asked how my mission was going. Well, apart from the fact that the guy of my dreams doesn't want to talk to me anymore, everything is going great. They're probably gonna call off the wedding. You are the best! There's just one thing left to do. Do you know what the most important thing at any wedding is? The bride's dress! My sister asked me to steal Lana's dress and hide it in the staff dressing room. I decided it would be the last thing I'd do for her. I was still hoping to make up with Nick by the end of the evening. I snuck into the bride's dressing room and found her dress. It was gorgeous. I hid it in the staff dressing room like Stella had told me to and went back to the restaurant. Guests were starting to arrive. The groom was trying to calm Lana down. The sweet couple got what they deserved. I found Nick and tried to explain myself, but he wouldn't listen to me. Damn it, I had to do something. I didn't want to lose Nick. It was time for desperate measures. I came to the edge of the pool and put on a show. Oh, it's so slippery here. I sure hope I won't fall into the water. I don't know how to swim. Have you all heard? I repeat, I can't swim. And then I pretended to slip and jumped into the pool. I started shouting and flailing. Nick saw it and jumped after me. Oh, my hero! Except Nick was a terrible lifeguard. Not only did he fail to pull me out of the water, but he almost drowned himself. I had to do everything myself. I grabbed Nick and helped him out of the pool. He caught his breath and asked me why I had been panicking if I was actually a great swimmer. I finally told him everything about the legend and my attempts to ruin the wedding to avenge my sister. Gabriella, you are so weird. But that's what I like about you. It's a shame I didn't save you and can't kiss you. If you think about it, Nick saved me the day we met. He helped me find a job and a place to live. Not all superheroes wear capes, huh? I kissed Nick. The legend didn't matter. The most important thing was that we liked each other. After that, he went to get a towel and I saw Lana crying. My wedding is ruined, and now my dress is missing on top of everything else. Why is this happening to me? Can't you guess? You and your fiancé conned my sister Stella. This is just karma. Lana stared at me, surprised, and said that they didn't know any Stellas. I took my phone and showed her a picture of my sister. The newlyweds insisted that they had never met her, but her face did seem familiar. Then, Lana found an article online about a famous criminal, my sister. Wait, hold on. Had Stella made a living by conning people and not running a business? My head was spinning. Why did she ask me to ruin your wedding and hide your dress then? Oh no! The dress belongs to the studio that made Twilight. Bella got married in it. I rented it for a few hours because I loved that movie, but your sister decided to steal it. Damn it! Stella must have found out that a famous model had rented an expensive dress and decided to use me to steal it. We called the police and rushed to the staff dressing room. Stella was already there. Luckily, the cops arrived soon after and caught my sister red-handed. Stella was arrested and the dress was taken away as evidence. It's a disaster! I have nothing to walk down the aisle in! My wedding is definitely ruined! I felt guilty. I shouldn't have trusted my sister. However, I knew how to save the wedding. Oh, wait here! Don't go anywhere! I ran to my apartment and brought Lana the dress that I had made for the final of the competition. It's not Chanel, of course, but this dress is stunning! Did you hear that too? Lana Crystal herself liked my dress! She looked fantastic at the altar. I was over the moon! My dreams were coming true! You are very talented, Gabriella. No one could get into and out of trouble as masterfully as you. Ha ha! That's right! Lana agreed to wear my dress at the competition to thank me. I got a few extra points for that and took first place. Now I could pay for college. Stella got the punishment she deserved. It turned out that she had deceived a lot of people. When money had been tight, she sold our parents' car and moved out of her expensive apartment. It was then that she heard the news about the wedding of a famous model. Weirdly enough, Mom and Dad were on her side even after all that. But it didn't bother me anymore. After all, I knew that I would make it without their help. Moreover, now I had Nick, who always supported me. I also wanted to show you the sketches of my new collection. However, I can't find them anywhere. Hey, my dog took them! Guys, did you see which way Tail had run?